From the Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zahra Syed. Our top story tonight. In a 368-7 vote on Wednesday, the United States House of Representatives called for an impartial investigation into election manipulation in Pakistan. The resolution calls for a full and independent investigation of claims of interference or irregularities in Pakistan's February 2024 election. The issue was most forcefully raised by former Prime Minister Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI. PTI was derived of their election symbol. Its leaders were forced to participate in the election as independent candidates. Many PTI leaders, including Khan, found themselves behind bars on a range of legal charges as the country went to the polls. The aim of the House of Resolution 901 is, in the words of the resolution itself, to express support for democracy and human rights in Pakistan. In response, Pakistan's lower house of parliament passed a resolution Friday denouncing the United States Congress resolution. The Legislative National Assembly stated that Pakistan will not accept any interference in its internal affairs, and the subject resolution is an attempt to undermine the state. In a fiery first presidential debate for 2024, former President Donald Trump sharply criticized President Joe Biden's stance on Israel's ongoing war on Gaza. Trump labeled Biden as a bad Palestinian, while accusing him of wavering on support for Israel. He claimed Biden's reluctance to back Israel has made him a weak and disliked figure amongst Palestinians. The debate, viewed by roughly 60% of American adults, showcased stark differences in the candidates' foreign policy views. Despite the contentious exchanges, a CNN flash poll indicated 67% of viewers felt Trump outperformed Biden. Experts say the performance of both candidates is expected to influence the global political landscape significantly. The debate held in Atlanta saw Biden struggling with his responses, stumbling over answers. Biden's campaign attributed his performance issues to a cold, while First Lady Jill Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris defended his efforts. Harris told CNN it was a slow start, but a strong finish. Trump, for his part, sought to portray Biden's first 4 years as a disaster, repeatedly telling viewers that our country is being destroyed. He harped in particular on the state of the U.S. economy and Biden's immigration policies. Trump says he will not accept ceding of Ukrainian territory in any peace deal with Russia, but attacked Biden for aiding Ukraine. The debate also took a sharp turn when Biden and Trump railed at each other over their golf performances, particularly their handicaps, which are measures used to assess a player's ability. In related news, Donald Trump has once again refused to commit to accepting the results of the upcoming November election. This reluctance raises concerns about potential unrest should he lose his rematch against incumbent President Joe Biden. During last night's debate, Trump sidestepped questions about accepting the election outcome and minimized the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection, calling it a relatively small number of people. He reiterated false claims of election fraud and suggested he would accept the results only if the election was what he called fair and legal, implying legitimacy only if he wins. Executive Director of Living United for Change in Arizona, Alejandra Gomez, criticized Trump's remarks. She labeled him a wannabe dictator and warns that his candidacy poses an existential threat to democracy. Christina Harvey of Stand Up America echoed these concerns, highlighting Trump's refusal to denounce the January 6th insurrection and his propagation of conspiracy theories. The debate underscores the stakes in the upcoming election, with the future of democracy and fundamental freedoms at risk. Mehdi Hassan of Zateo notes the close race and urged Democrats to improve their strategy to ensure the survival of American democracy. The first presidential debate on Thursday night has left Democrats anxious about President Joe Biden's ability to confront Donald Trump. Biden's stumbling and hesitant delivery have sparked widespread worry about his age and ability to effectively lead the party. Prominent Democratic strategist David Plouffe described the debate as a DEFCON 1 moment, highlighting the compounded concerns of both swing and base voters. Many Democrats publicly and privately have questioned if Biden should remain the party's nominee, fearing his performance might jeopardize their chances. Former Senator Claire McCaskill has voiced her dismay, admitting to a sense of heartbreak and uncertainty about Biden's capability to recover. Vice President Kamala Harris acknowledged the shaky start, but emphasized the importance of focusing on the November election. California Governor Gavin Newsom is urging Democrats to stay united and supportive, dismissing calls for panic over one debate. Despite the grim reactions, Biden's advisors maintain confidence and are planning to pursue an aggressive campaign strategy in the coming months. They suggest the campaign was never going to be won or lost in one rally, conversation, or debate. However, the debate has ignited serious discussions within the party about potential alternatives, with some voices suggesting a contested convention could be on the horizon. President Joe Biden has appointed Dr. Mohammed al-Sanusi as Commissioner for the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, or USCIRF. Al-Sanusi has served as the Interfaith and Government Relations Director at the Islamic Society of North America, or ISNA. He serves as the Executive Director of the Network for Religious and Traditional Peacemakers. Al-Sanusi has been influential in developing the Marrakech Declaration, advocating for religious freedom for minorities in Muslim-majority countries. He was the principal coordinator for developing the standards and protocols for safeguarding the rights of Christian, Jewish, and other religious minorities in Muslim-majority communities. He also founded Faiths for Vaccines to support equitable vaccine distribution and combat vaccine hesitancy. Israel has killed 543 people in Lebanon since October 7th, when it launched its offensive in Gaza. Israel, Hezbollah, and other armed groups in Lebanon have exchanged at least 7,400 attacks across the border from October 7th to June 21st. According to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, Israel conducted about 83% of these attacks, totaling more than 6,000 incidents and killing at least 543 people in Lebanon. Hezbollah and other armed groups were responsible for over 1,200 attacks that killed at least 21 Israelis. Meanwhile, at least 11 Palestinians were killed and 40 injured in an Israeli attack targeting displaced people's tents in Rafah, southern Gaza. Israeli forces killed 3 civil defense team members and injured several others in the Nusayrat refugee camp in central Gaza, according to Al Jazeera Arabic. Gaza's civil defense agency confirmed 3 medics were killed and 12 wounded by Israeli aircraft during rescue efforts in Bureij refugee camp. In Gaza City, residents fled in terror as the Israeli army attacked the eastern Shujaiya neighborhood, leaving dead and wounded on the streets. Artillery strikes in the Shujaiya and Tufa neighborhoods resulted in multiple casualties, including children and women. UNICEF has announced that Israel agreed to restore power to a key desalination plant in southern Khan Yunis, meeting the minimum water needs of nearly 1 million people. Since October 7th, Israel's war on Gaza has killed 37,765 people and wounded 86,429 others. The International Court of Justice has accused Israel of genocide, ordering an immediate halt to military operations in Rafah. Israeli minister admits deliberate starvation of Palestinian prisoners. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to This Hijabi Life. Today we are talking with Rahma, who is the owner of 4C Hijabi.
Society has placed hair as a symbolism of beauty for women. But one of the things we struggle with is visibility and access. Yeah. We're not really visible in the natural hair care space.
Knowledge is power, and when you ask, you can get the guidance and you will know so that you can move differently in your life.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Muslim Network TV.
Welcome back. Israeli prison authorities have admitted to reducing food rations for Palestinian detainees in Gaza, a move criticized as pushing them to starvation. Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir defended the policy as a deterrent, asserting that detainees will receive minimal rights and food. Earlier, security sources told the Israeli newspaper Haaretz the Israel Prison Service is intentionally cutting Palestinian prisoners' caloric intake. Despite denials of starvation, multiple detainees, including non-political prisoners, report drastic weight loss due to severe food cuts. Concerns over legality and ethics have arisen, with allegations of deliberate policy to weaken prisoners. The issue has sparked outrage and calls for accountability amid international humanitarian concerns. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to forbid the State Department from citing casualty figures provided by the Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza. The amendment passed by a 269 to 144 margin with bipartisan support aims to restrict the use of these statistics in official reports. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib condemned the move, calling it disgusting. She accused her colleagues of perpetuating anti-Palestinian racism and denying the humanity of Palestinians, both alive and dead. Tlaib, the first Palestinian American woman in Congress, accused Israel of genocide and criticized the international community for not intervening. She said since 1948, there has been a coordinated effort to dehumanize Palestinians and erase Palestinians from existence. She said more than 37,000 Palestinians, including more than 15,000 Palestinian children, have been killed by Israel. Flouting a UN Security Council resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire, Israel has faced international condemnation amid its continued brutal offensive on Gaza. Oklahoma's state superintendent has mandated that all public schools incorporate the Bible and the Ten Commandments into their curriculums. Ryan Walters, the Oklahoma State Superintendent of Public Instruction, defended the decision at a State Board of Education meeting. He argued it aims to enhance historical understanding, citing the Bible's foundational influence on the constitutions and the country's origin. However, critics, including the Oklahoma chapter of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, have vehemently opposed the mandate. CARE condemned the decision as a clear violation of the Constitution's Establishment Clause, which separates church and state. They argue that endorsing a specific interpretation of the Bible as educational truth undermines this crucial separation, posing a significant threat to religious neutrality in public education. The Supreme Court today ruled in favor of a January 6, 2021 Capitol riot participant who challenged an obstruction conviction. The challenge was brought by Joseph Fisher, one of more than 300 people charged with obstruction by the Justice Department. Attorney General Merrick Garland said he was disappointed by the Supreme Court's decision in the January 6th rioters case, but he added the Department of Justice will take appropriate steps to comply with the ruling. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court still has to decide on former President Donald Trump's claim of absolute immunity. The final opinions from the court will be released on Monday, including the immunity ruling. A protest held in front of the Greek embassy in Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, marked the 80th anniversary of the massacre committed by the Greece against Cham and Muslim Albanians. Protesters carrying Cham symbols and Albanian flags denounced the massacre and human rights violations that occurred during and after World War II. The Cham region, starting from the south of Albania and extending to Ioannina and Preveza in Greece, has a history deeply intertwined with these events. Until 1913, the Cham Albanians were citizens of the Ottoman Empire. Following the Balkan War and the 1913 London Conference, the Cham region was handed over to Greece as an ethnic and minority area, despite the 1910 census indicating a population of 83,000 Albanians. From June 1944 to March 1945, this ethnic cleansing campaign killed 2,900 men, 214 women, and 96 children. Additionally, 745 women were raped and thousands of homes were destroyed. More than 2,000 additional people have died due to the harsh living conditions and forced displacement. The ethnic cleansing compelled around 35,000 Albanians to flee to Albania, leaving their homes and properties behind. That's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Your support is needed more than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by calling 1-800-432-4262. You can also use the Zelle app for easy payments by sending to info@soundvision.com or visit muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.